Now, how about the part where, from the reviews I read on Google
Okay.
Play Store, where some people were talking about the terms they saw before they applied for a
Mhm.
loan? For instance, the 60 to 90 days duration before you're able to pay back, and then by the time you apply for the loan and get the loan, you find out that it's 6 days. It's no longer 60 days. Now, if I'm given 60 days before and I apply for the loan, and then I'm getting 6 days after I've gotten the loan, would that amount to insincerity on my part if I decide that you know what, I'm not paying people back until after 60 days?
Now, I've heard this before. What I've come to realize is this: a good number of people don't take time to go through terms and conditions, or sometimes, many of these things are prepared by lawyers,
Yeah.
and they are prepared in strict legal language, or what you can call archaic English.
Yes,
And so
the average person can't
yes,
just understand at first glance.
exactly. Now, and then the way they are structured. Now, for example, in drafting, I can state A, B, C, D. Then in clause E, I make a clause that invalidates everything I said in A, B, C, and D.
Oh, come on.
Exactly. I can say, now to divert from this, I think there was a time I was actually supposed to review a tenancy agreement. The landlord had said he will do this A, B, C, D. Then finally he now went to a clause and said, notwithstanding everything we've said above, I reserve the right to reverse everything. Now, a non-lawyer will not even understand that thing has practically invalidated everything you had before.
You said before.
So now people say, of course, we saw, but if you go through, what I've realized is, if you take time to go through the terms and the conditions very, very, very clearly, you realize that it's actually still 6 days.
Ouch.
You have there, not the 60 days. Because if you go through, most people don't have the time. They'll be like, after all, they won't take my firstborn, so why should I go? They will never say, we'll take your first son.
Yeah.
So why should I go through the stress of reading the entire terms and conditions? Yes. But then again, so the number of days, usually they provide it, but it is not as obvious as you would think. It is embedded in the rest of the agreement, the entire agreement, not in
Interesting.
one clause.
You're a lawyer. Why is that when you people are drafting these terms and conditions for people, it's too much, it's usually plenty, and at the end of the day, they're tiny. People don't even have the patience to start reading all of that.
Now, the thing is this: the lawyer doesn't draft it to be tiny. Now, but if it is plenty, of course. Now,
But
the reason it is
if the plenty, first of all.
yeah, the reason it is plenty is because you have to take care of every possible situation that will arise. Now, for a normal person, let me just give a pedestrian example. I could say, if you're able to, let's say, let me just use a general competition. Now, you can just say, if you're able to mention who is this, you will have 5,000. Now, that's general language.
Yes.
But a lawyer wouldn't just say that.
Mm-hmm.
You say, if you're able to provide and make it very clear and let me know who is the owner of this, I would provide you the sum of 5,000 naira on or before so dates. Now, these are details that a normal person would not think is necessary. But what a lawyer tries to do in drafting is to ensure that there is no room for ambiguity, or there is no room for confusion. So once you look at the agreement, it is so clear that it will be impossible to even be confused. So that's usually the point. So sometimes when you read many of those terms and conditions, they exhaust all the possibilities that can arise in that contract and then treat it. So the normal person on the street does not have the time to read it, doesn't even want to read it. And in Nigeria, we don't
Just
have
want
this.
to get it done with.
Exactly. And we don't have this culture of getting to legal practitioners to review agreements, which is what we have in most developed countries. Before you sign an agreement, you get a lawyer to go through it, review it, and advise you.
Okay, I'm downloading an app. Why would I want to get a lawyer to start going through the terms for me?
That's exactly what causes this problem, because when you realize you signed up something you would never have signed up, now you complain. That's the thing. So it's either you get a professional who understands terms and conditions to go through it, or you just sign up and believe that they will not take your firstborn.